All right, episode three. Uh, Today, we got a guest on. We got Mr. David Finns of Quantum Leap Reptiles, man. How you doing?
Pretty good about you guys.
All right, doing good. All right, so tell us, tell us your reptile story. Where did it all begin for you?
All right, so pretty much, like back in the day when when I was in school, kindergarten, first grade, like back as far as I can remember, um, I just I would like whenever the teacher would go to like the library with us and stuff, they would be like, go pick out a book and stuff like that to read or just do a like class report on, I guess, or whatnot. And that'd be the first thing I'd go to. And they'd be like, oh, you can't pick that kind of a book, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, just pictures and stuff like that. And it's just like zoology and whatnot. And I'm just like, I'd still do it anyway. I would just can totally,
Yeah,
completely ignore that fact. But yeah, that's all I would do. And, hurt my grades. But at the same time, it was something I loved to do. And, one day, back in, I want to say 2017, um, I was getting a tattoo by a guy, Jay Detlefs. He actually owns Seven Serpents. You can follow him on Instagram as well, or find him on Instagram as too. But yeah. So Jay, me and him were sitting there getting a tattoo done, and me and him ended up finding out we had a hobby in common. That was reptiles, and so he was sitting there telling me like, oh, I breed reptiles for a living on the side. It's kind of a hobby right now, but I really want to make it a business one day. And I just kind of looked at him like, you're kind of crazy, man. Like that, there's no way you can do that. And then, he kind of talked to me and made it, simplified and made me understand, this is a real thing. You can, other than a hobby, it can be a small business. So kind of took it into a consideration and grabbed a few things that I liked. And here I am now.
all right,
It's
yeah.
pretty fun.
It's awesome. What
So
do
you
you keep?
got a, go ahead.
What species do you keep?
All types of stuff, man. I like to keep it broad spectrum. I mean, well, anyways, like for breeding wise, I've got Leachianus geckos, crested geckos, ball pythons, rough-throated Australian leaf-tailed geckos. Um,
That's awesome.
right, currently, I've got a pair of ornate Uromastyx that I got from Philip Leitz at Aird's Only. Great
That's
guy.
dope. Oh yeah,
And
I
then
love that podcast.
I also have two, I think it's females, but I'm not 100% sure. I got them pretty small. They're still growing. I want to say they probably have at least another 2 or 3 years left to go, but they're Thomasai Uromastyx.
Mm,
And pretty sure they're both females, but then they're both from the same clutch. So no matter what, I'm going to have to, get
We'll find another
one
one.
male or whatnot and split them up and all that jazz. But um, yeah, the Uromastyx. What else? Oh, and then Bronia graminia, Mexican alligator
There it
lizard.
is. There it is.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't remember.
I
And then
love those things.
down the road, I just got a male from what's his name? He's from Primo Chameleons. I got a orange-eyed male chameleon from him and a yellow giant male chameleon from him, and then I got a female yellow giant from um, Chameleon Brothers Official, and
Okay.
I'm gonna
Those
end
are the
up breeding
Parsons.
those. I'm sorry.
Those are the Parsons.
Yeah, the Parsons. Yeah, I have orange eyes, and then
Okay.
I also have the yellow giant. So in the future, I plan to breed those, but the males are just too small right now. The female,
Yeah.
she's imported wild caught, so she's doing fantastic. I mean, she looks absolutely vibrant and super super colorful.
those things are
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love them, man. They're so cool. I didn't realize a chameleon could get that big until I own them.
Yeah.
Are insane.
Yeah. Those things need like their own room. How big
Yeah,
them
yeah.
things are, man. Crazy.
Yeah, I
Well,
have a
right?
4x2x4 for just my male or both my males. The female, she's in a 3x2x3, so she's
Hmm.
got plenty of space too. But I give the males as much room as possible because they just get huge, man.
Yeah. They like to roam around and stuff. Are they pretty active or are they pretty chill?
Uh, so the female, for the most part, she has her spot that she likes to hang out at, and she just hangs out and stays in that spot for the most part. But the males, they like to, roam the entire cage. I mean, they'll take up as much space as you give them.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's what's up. So I know it's like this is pretty much. Is this like we're gonna talk about some like vending stuff? So has this been like your first year vending, or have you been doing it a
So
little while now?
yeah, this is my first year vending. I started in December of 23, so I guess it's been kind of like 4 months, yeah. And I go
Yeah.
back on March 24th. I go to Sin City Reptile Show. It's just a
Hmm.
local reptile show for us here in Cincinnati. And
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty nice. I mean, we get a lot of people there. It's really fun and whatnot. You got people that are newcomers, and they don't even know sometimes like anything about the stuff that's going on. They're just like,
Yeah.
what the heck is going on here? And you just gotta fill them in, and the
Yeah. You got to educate them.
spots.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
That's fine. People that knew nothing about it that are like, this is real. And it's like, it's
Yeah,
real, man.
they're
It's a
like,
real
they're like, wow,
world.
you guys actually make a breeding from all this, or like a living from all this breeding and stuff. And it's just like, yeah, it's a real thing. PetSmart's not the only place.
hey, yeah, exactly, right there. So from like vending wise, do you see that after effect from like shows like people you give your cars to? Do you see that after sales effect?
You're kind of
Awesome.
cutting up there for me, Jason.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. Uh, so are you seeing like an after sales effect from the shows? Like you're handing out your cars, people are hitting you up a little bit later on, like on Morph Market or on IG for animals.
Um, so I will say that I've only had maybe a handful from the shows actually like message me on Morph Market or like Facebook.
Yeah.
I will say that that's the only show that I go to. So I will say that probably could take effect into like, you know, just my sales in general and getting my name out there. But
Yeah.
I do know that the people that I have sold to have messaged me and told me that the animals that they've gotten from me are quality animals, great animals that everything about them that they love everything about them and whatnot. But no, I don't think I have actually. I think I've maybe gotten one, maybe two. That's about it on sales. But other than
Okay.
that, it's mostly like actual buyers on Morph Market.
Okay. Cool. Well, how's your Morph Market? Because I know mine's lacking.
Yes.
so I was just going to ask. So Morph Market is working for you?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Morph Market I'd say is working best for me. I don't really like buy ads, you know what I mean, for like Facebook or Instagram like that, or nothing. I just, I go to the shows. I make, reels on Instagram, and I guess just kind of hope for the best. I mean, I'm not
Oh,
the
damn.
best at marketing. I'd say I do need to, me and Jason have talked, and he's told me, you need to get some more, you know,
Yeah.
images
You
out
gotta
there.
post
You need to start posting more
daily,
daily
man.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
get in that
But
algorithm.
I have right, and just recently my life's been kind of busy. I got two kids. I got a 4-year-old son. He's going on 5, and then my daughter. She just turned a year old on February 11th, and then I have another newborn daughter on the way in July. So things have just kind of taken their course in life, and
Oh
just kind of gotten busy. That's all.
yeah, I feel you on that. Man, so
You're
I'm gonna
breaking up
say,
for me again there, Jason.
all right, back, cool.
You're
Yep.
back now.
All right, cool. I don't know what's going on with my internet today.
Oh no, you're good,
Say
man.
you do this full time, right?
So yeah, I do this full time, and then do the stuff with my kids on the other take care of my kids and the reptiles full time all day long, and then my girlfriend, she is an STNA, so she does all
Okay.
that and whatnot.
So how's it being, full time? This is what you do. So you have like a daily routines, or you just kind of you're just all
Yes.
right, this needs to be
Um,
done today, or
so I mean, every day, all the Euros, the bearded dragons, the tortoise, they all get like mixed veggies and all that good jazz. And then I sprinkle, like their vitamins, or if they, it's the 2 week mark, they get their, calcium and whatnot. And then I go onto the spraying the chameleons down, and then start their drippers, and then give them dusted crickets with calcium with no D3. And then at like 2 week mark, like I said, give them their Reptivite or multivitamins with calcium, or with calcium D3. And then, because like, I don't, some people don't know this, and PetSmart doesn't give them this information, but uh, you do have to like give chameleons every 2 weeks the calcium with D3, and then every like other feeding, or every feeding after that, for that 2 week period every day, give them 5 crickets with or without, D3, and the rest of the crickets non-dusted. So I usually give my chameleons about 5 dusted every day without D3, and then
Mm-hmm.
10 without any dust on them.
Yeah.
But
So why did that you had
that,
to do like that 2 week mark? You had to do with D3.
yeah, yeah, you can do the with D3. You can choose to do multivitamins, but I just do the Reptivite because it's already got the
Okay.
D3 and the multivitamins in there, so it just makes it
No,
a
but
thousand times easier.
so why do you have to do that with them?
So with the D3, it helps with them with like metabolize, and it also helps
Hmm.
with their bone structure, obviously. And then
Yeah.
the calcium in general is just for their bones without the
Yeah.
D3. The D3 you only want in little amounts because that's just for like the bones, like for MBD.
Okay.
And then that's why you give them just the calcium without it
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
day. Yeah.
So are you putting UVB on them?
Yeah, I just do UVB on the Parsons, and then with the Panthers, I do UVB and then a 75-watt heat bulb.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
But other than that, though, with the feedings, every day schedule, I do, like I said, the spraying, for the crickets, the mixed veggies for everybody, and then snakes every Sunday. So that's not like a really everyday routine, but that's just every Sunday I feed them. I get, 30 small rats. And then now I actually just had my first clutch of ball python eggs hatch, and I had super inchy, super pastel het clown male hatch out. I got a super inchy, super pastel bamboo het clown, a bamboo het clown, and then a super pastel, super, or I think it's called well, it would be a killer clown. So yeah, that's not an actual visual clown, but it's a super pastel, super inchy bamboo het clown, and that one's so sick, man. I wish it would have been a
Yeah.
clown. So like I said, it would have been a killer clown to make a super pastel, but man, but yeah, it's so killer, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I saw you post today. Yeah. I was like, hey, that's what's up right there. I know.
Right?
Let's
Yeah.
talk about those leashes though. 'Cause I remember you were showing me that you were so excited when you had those leashes.
Oh yeah, man, dude, the
So
leeches are so killer too. I only unfortunately have one pair right now. I'm working on right now getting another pair from Doug Cooley at Ridiculous Racks, and I mean he has killer stuff. He's made his
Sir,
own way
yes,
in the
he,
game, and
yeah.
he he's got my other pair. I guess right now I'm kind of like in a payment process with him on all that stuff, but they've made 2 babies so far for me.
is he
But
back?
Uh,
You see,
I
no,
was
I don't see him. He's gone.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
His
He'll
thing
come back.
the whole time on my
Oh
screen
the
too.
It was what?
His like in
he,
the whole time on my screen.
Oh, probably because it's not on Wi-Fi. It's all good. So we'll start back when it gets up. Um, shit. So I don't know. So what's going on with you and your stuff right now?
It's a daily grind,
so
man.
right
You know, I got a
Yeah.
pretty big size sale
oh,
today. I got a kid coming to pick up 10. Like I was mentioning earlier, he's opening up a pet shop. He wants 12 geckos. He wants 10 hatchlings, which I told him he's out of his friggin' mind. And he wants
Yeah.
breeding pair. I'm like, dog, you really barking up the wrong tree. It's not how I do business, but we'll figure it out. You know, if you want to
Yeah.
sell them,
Work something. Work a
we'll
deal out.
out. You know, so I'm going to
Yeah.
set him up with some stuff, but he wants wholesale numbers, and and stuff. I'm like, dude, I run a real tight program here. You know, I breed for very, very specific traits. Now, I don't always hit it, so I do have some stuff that's, you know, available that I could, you know, fill your demand with, I guess. But we're not going to get caught up in the wholesale market. I don't deal with wholesale pet geckos, man. You know, it's like, you know, I understand the people that do, no doubt. You know, I've bought in wholesale orders myself, you know, but I don't, it's not going to last long. But the kid's opening up a pet shop. I want to help him more than anything. And it's a good way, too, for me to get my animals out there. You know, when they
Oh
ask
yeah,
where they're from and he starts drawing a crowd, he lives in a very niche area, you know, between a couple colleges and probably 5 or 6 skyscraper developments that are empty right now, but they'll be full with these college kids real soon. And I mean, as we all know, geckos are a, you know, pretty convenient species to keep when you're in college, man. It's a
yeah, yeah.
small area, low requirement type of animal, and I think he'll do well, to be honest with you. But when you sell what everybody else sells, you're not gonna do well. So if you take a gecko from me and you sell it for, you know, $150, why would these kids buy it versus going to Petco and buying one for 80? You know, you have to put on a show, if you will. You have to, you know, advertise what genetics are in these things, advertise what they're looking at. Because granted, the good 80% of the things I breed don't look at birth the way they will when they're mature, you know? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got
it's
that same thing going over here.
trying to explain these things to him, and I want him to learn. You know, I'm not trying to preach to the kid. You know, I'm not trying
I
to say, listen,
mean, he
go for
should
that.
learn that. Yeah, he
No,
should learn that if he's gonna open a shop up.
yeah, man,
You
if
got to
you're
be
gonna
able to explain.
know what you're dealing with, know what to look for. I don't want you to just get got, you know, and I don't want you to have what Petco has, because these people are going to run down the street and go to Petco and buy one for half the price. Like, you can't just like, oh, I get them from a gecko breeder, they're worth $150 or $200. Like, you got to know something about them. Like, learn
Yeah,
something about them. He shows me a handfuls last night, and he's like, look, I got this breeding pair. I'm like, how do you even know that it's a male or a female? Like, you don't even know what you're looking at, kid. Like, learn something first. Stop going crazy and going and buying all this stuff. He went and bought 10 bearded dragons, 10 of those, the China red ones, the China giants. He goes and spends like $1,800, which is a steal for the amount that he got. But you don't even know what you have. How can you sell something or market something, or how can you work with something if you don't know what it is? To me, it's just ignorant. You're acting, you're playing stupid. You're looking foolish, throwing your money around, man. Your business ain't gonna last, you know.
yeah,
But he owns businesses. The kid is like 25 years old. He owns a limo company. He's got like 5 Suburbans, and he does.
yeah.
I don't know how he got his money. I'm not asking. I don't really care. But I'm not the type of person trying to get into your pocket. You know, my name is on those things. I got a great job that pays my bills. I don't need to sell you some flim flam shit to come up. It's not my
Yeah.
style. But I want him to know what he's dealing with so that he could, damn, plug me in, go find some better stuff. You know, like it's it's just it's a weird thing, and not even to mention the kid owned no pet shops 6 months ago. He put a down payment in an aquarium, a fish shop. It's a
Oh,
something
uh,
something world,
okay.
but it's a fish shop. The guy's owned it for 35 years. He don't want it anymore. His wife just passed away. He's or one or the other. The wife passed away or the husband passed away, but whoever's still alive don't want it. They're selling it or did sell it to the kid Vinny. So he's allegedly bought a second shop. His first one isn't even open, dude. It's not even open yet. They're still building the bays to do the he's doing pet grooming. So they got some company and they're building bays to do dog bathing. You don't even have a client yet, kid. Like, I ain't got
Oh,
a buyer. Trust
he's
me.
he's running before he learned to crawl.
Yes. And I'm trying to guide him, the kid, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to take his
Yeah,
name or to say he's not a man. He's 23, 24 years old, but he obviously came into a shit ton of money somehow, and he's just throwing it everywhere. You know, and it kind of hurts because, you know, when we were talking, you know, about this, I had met him through bearded dragons. I had a clutch of bearded dragons. He wanted to buy a few bearded dragons from me. Sold them to the kid. So always kept in touch with him, you know. And to make a long story short, short story shorter, we had talked about the idea, like I was saying, I wanted to build this reptarium style place one day. This was my goal. I wanted to build a place where kids could come and have birthday parties and kids could look at animals in their natural environment, like Brian Barczyk's joint, you know. Like I wanted to bring one of those, and I've wanted one. I'm not definitely not trying to take nothing from Brian, but probably since before Brian ever had the Reptarium, I have always dreamed of having one of these places where you could walk into a place and walk over a boardwalk through a marsh with real alligators in it and be nothing there but you and them. And you know, I wanted to have a place that people could experience pieces of the wild close to home. So we discussed this idea back and forth, me and this kid, for like 6 months, 9 months ish. And he comes at me one day and he's like, "Yo, wait, you got $5,000?" And I'm like, "For what?" He was like, "I want to open a pet shop." It's like, all right, dude. I own 3 businesses in my life, none animal related, but I failed them all. Failed all 3 businesses. I ran them all, right? So you got to come at me with a little bit more than you want to start a business and you want me to just give you $5,000. Like, talk to me. So he never really did. Like, he never really came at me with a business plan or an attorney or, you know, any type of structured anything. And the one thing I've learned through failing businesses is that structure really will lead to your success. If you just try to wing it, you're not going to do too well. I think he's trying to come back in. I see his thing at the bottom. So we'll finish up later with the whole story and stuff.
I'm
but
sorry, guys.
again, he had started a pet shop with me, and I didn't really take him serious until he was in the shop, and I see a coming soon sign on the place that's literally a quarter of a mile away from my house, like in a brand new development. The building just got built, skyscraper just got built, and downstairs they have the buildings, you know, the commercial space or whatever.
Yeah.
You got one, man, but I'm a carpenter by trade, you know, so he asked if I would help oversee some stuff, and then some flim-flam crap happened with that, and then the landlord's guys, the guy that owned the property, said that his guys would finish out the drywall stuff, so I kind of got nixed on the project. That put a sour taste in my mouth, and little things went back and forth, and again, he came back at me now with, "Hey, let me take 100 geckos, and I'll give you X amount of percentage of the new store." And I'm like, "Dude, on what? What premise? What word? What are you doing?" "Well, I'll draw up a contract." You could draw up anything you want, but how valid is it? Like I want to see your license numbers, man. Do you have the licenses? Do you have the permits? Like, this is Connecticut, man. You're not just selling anything, man. Connecticut needs to tax you on
Right.
everything. They already tax you on it,
Oh,
tax you on that too. So you will have some proof, and he didn't. So I kind of was like, "Listen, slow down, pump the brakes. I'll give you 10. Where are you housing 100 geckos? You're not taking these things that I bred my love into, you know, not to sound corny, but everything I've bred is with a purpose. You're not just taking this stuff and where are you putting it? I drive by your shop every day. It's not open yet. Where are you putting the things?" So that's where we're at now. He's allegedly coming, and I'm going to give him 10 geckos. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I don't think any of us do
Hey,
this.
David, you there?
You know, this is some
I just
hard
see a
work.
box.
I see a box. I don't
You
see anything else.
come in.
Oh,
He's
well.
probably
You guys
the
hear me?
same thing I'm doing, because if you know, you got to hit join the group on the top. You don't automatically come in. I was on it. It was just a picture of me.
Okay.
I'm sitting here like, what the hell's going on?
Can you guys hear me?
Man, yeah. So I told you about that thing that happened. So my breeder, she passed. Like I said, I think she had uh I think she was egg bound.
Eggbound.
Yeah, because usually she gets pretty. She would like every time she's laid, she would get kind of sluggish, and it took a lot out of her. And but like I said, she always dropped one egg. So I don't know if there was already underlying issues with her.
Did she
Because the breed.
drop one egg?
Hold on, David said something.
Yeah, I just
Or,
see something. I see his name. Oh, I'm seeing messages.
yeah.
Can't see or hear you.
Yeah, he sent a message on there. So yeah, so that one passed. I was like, damn, that. I'm
Now I'm
thinking he
here.
did that.
I was just typing.
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah, she passed away. So, like I said, I think she might have had some underlying issues. Uh, she always dropped. She only would only ever drop one egg. So maybe something
There,
ovaries, whatever. I don't know.
welcome back, bud.
Here we
In here
go.
the whole time, man. I thought I was in here the whole time. It kept showing my face, and I was just, I
I have.
listened to you guys this whole conversation. I heard your whole, spiel about the 24-year-old guy. I was actually wanted to chime in. I wanted to chime in. I was waiting, man. I was like,
Yeah, we didn't see anything. Then like the little spot just popped up and it had your name, but there was no picture or anything. Then like start seeing your messages. I was
yeah,
like,
you
oh,
guys,
okay.
because like I seen your message. You asked me if I was okay. Like I thought you like asked me like just like if I was like just emotionally okay or something. I kind of ignored it. The fact just kind of was like listening to his story or whatever because I was really interested. But yeah, no, I'm sorry about that. I really do apologize. Just a lot of
No, no, you're all
goofiness
good.
going on tonight.
It's called technology. We don't have any control over those things. You know what I'm saying?
But no, I did want to chime in though about the guy you're helping out with the business. So me and him are actually the same age. I'm 25, going on 26 in May,
There you go.
and I put all my time and money into this business. I don't think any of us just go out of our way to do this just for nothing because this is a lot of hard work and dedication, man. Like this made me
Oh,
have a lot of perseverance and a lot of dedication to something. Like I've never been so dedicated and been so triforce for something, but until this came along in my life, and I really love it. It's not that I hate it or anything like that, but it is very very draining work sometimes,
oh
and
yeah, it's perseverance.
trying to push through
Burnout,
that shit.
be real. I've heard people talk about it, and the burnout is a real thing. But your passion, if it's a
It's
real,
there.
is what I feel like makes the community, right? Because these guys that get burnout, if you will, they sell everything off and they leave and they go look for something else to entertain them. You weren't never really entertained to begin with if you were that burnt out. I look at all of these different things, man, and I'm still, I feel like a kid again. I am mesmerized
Yeah.
by things. I still want to, I don't even care to talk about my stuff. I'd rather spend the rest of my time listening to what other people have and things I don't have. Like, learning to me is amazing. Like I could watch and listen to hundreds of hours of podcasts of people talking about species I don't keep. I don't, not that I knock listening to things that I have, because
Yeah.
it's cool to hear how other people do things, but so interesting to just to hear what other people have and other people do, how things live. And man, I just watched the whole Bill Strand's podcast he let go the other day about I forgot who he was doing it with, the all animal pod, the kid they were talking about creation. I think it's amazing, dude. How he spent time in the cloud forest and he measured, he weighed the chameleon, and through a short little study, able to prove that they can actually absorb water and drink through clouds. When the fog rolls in at certain times of the day, the chameleon he measured weighed 1 gram less before the cloud came in. These clouds rolled through and the thing gained a gram. It was hydrated. They were talking about fogging, the do's and don'ts of fogging in chameleons. I don't know anything about it, so I'm not the person to say. I'm just saying what I watched and listened to him talk about. But it was mesmerizing, dude. I was blown away with how what he learned and what he was talking about. And I've always loved chameleons, but I grew up in the 80s, right? In the 80s, chameleons were that elite animal. They were the thing that you just not anybody could just have. They would die if you didn't have moving water. And back then there wasn't these little drip things that they have now. And it seems so simple, like someone would have figured it out back then. But it just you just it was they were just you know you couldn't nobody could just keep chameleons, man. It was like the hardest thing to do. It just but now with technology and watching what people learn in education and the internet, he even says the same thing too. But I mean, I can vouch for it. The internet, and I'm not saying that I suggest everyone goes and listens to everything on the internet, get all your information from the internet. I'm still a book fan. I love books. I love pages. I love turning a page. I love seeing cited information. But you can pick through the crap better with the internet. You know, you can see what applies to you better. You can see who's doing what. You can read forums. You can do a lot of things, and it's made keeping these once elite animals. I'm not trying to take anything from anybody that keeps them, but it makes it that much easier that I can actually almost entertain the idea of asking my wife if I can get a chameleons. You know, like I love chameleons, man. You know, and
Well, you got your man right here that can help you out.
I know I
You got
heard him
David
say,
right here.
and I'm like, yeah, buddy,
Yeah, down the
come on,
road. I mean,
man.
like I said, the Parsons, they take forever, man. Like
24.
I've heard they can take because I do remember his name now. Craig Durbin from Primo Chameleons. He's told me it can take anywhere from 1 to 2 years for them to hatch out in incubation.
20. That's what I was reading. 24 months, man, to incubate
That's
those.
crazy.
Crazy.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Because they got to go through like a, what is it called?
11
Like
months.
go through like a cooling period of the eggs
Hmm.
and then heat them back up. Yeah. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying, man. My
And
my male, he's got at least another 4 years before he's even close to being ready.
How
yeah.
much does
How long
asking?
does it usually go for? Like, is it like 4 or 5 year age or something like that for them?
I'm sorry.
So is it like
You
a
guys
four or
both asked
five?
me the same a question at the same time. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So for sexual maturity for those, is it like 4 or 5 years?
Uh, I would assume so. Yeah, just because of how big they get, especially for males, and I just want to give him that extra, because usually for most reptiles it's 3 years of age, but I want to give him that extra 2 years just to make sure. Just because she's also a bit older too, and she's wild caught,
Okay.
so I'm not even sure of her age. So I just want to be 100% sure before I go and
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
throw them together. But what was your question, Anthony? I'm sorry.
I don't even remember. I have 30 of them. Bro, like I can sit here and interview you just on them. I'm so intrigued by those chameleons, dude. Like, how do? Well, let me start off with this. How much do they cost? How much? What's the entry level for a Parsons?
So I paid for a well-established baby, um, yellow giant Parsons chameleon from Craig himself, 1,500 with shipping included. So I mean, it's relatively, it's a
Deal.
bit pricey, but there are more expensive things out there.
Got geckos I paid more than that for, man. Like it's like that's nothing.
Yeah. I got a
Don't even
couple
get
of
me
those.
started, man.
It's amazing that you can buy something that rare and amazing for that little bit of. I don't want to sound smug, but that little bit of money can get you a living dinosaur, man. Like a living, like that's amazing, man.
They're so cool,
So
100%.
enclosures. What I was reading about them was they were these hybrid cages, so they
Hmm.
weren't. Screen wasn't the best per se, but certain areas of screen were to create kind of like a vacuum where airflow
Airflow.
the
Yeah.
bottom, air would come out at the top. What do you run? What type of setups do you run for them?
So with my 4x2x4, I actually did a DIY on that one, and I took Craig Durbin's assistance with that and suggestions, and he told me I could use two extra large Repti breezes and take out the sidewalls, connect them together, and use two screw faceplates that have like that back and forth zigzag type deal going on, and you could connect the two together. And that's what I did, and now it's a 4x2x4, but it is screened. So with that being said, I connected plastic rope chain on all four corners. Well, it's like 8 lines of rope that go down from the top of the enclosure, and then I connected dowels, 3/8 dowels, and ran them through the plastic rope, and then connected dowels across those ropes onto the other dowels with zip ties, and then it's just like perfect squares, and then there's like X's that go perfectly vertical, so he can go down and explore the entire cage. And then for plants, I have what are they called? Umbrella plants for both of his
Okay.
side of his plants in his cage.
I'd imagine they're not going to last long, huh? Those things that what you got to put a real tree in there, like
Yeah.
a.
Get some thick old trees and nothing. Man.
That's half the my joy to these animals is building these live terrariums. Like damn, if I had a Parsons, what could I put in there? I'd have ponytail palms, and I got like 7 palm trees in this room, dude. I would have legit full palm trees in there. I want one so cool,
No,
man.
yeah, I plan to
Um,
do that eventually. He just told me to go with the simple route right
Yeah,
now with
yeah.
the with the dowels and the chains, just get him acquired to what he was used to in his care, and also he said the dowels are just really easy on their skin when they're shedding. They like to rub, like rub
Oh,
it
they
off
do.
of their face and whatnot, all that skin and shit. But yeah, he said the dowels are perfect for it. They don't mold. They don't break easily like that. They don't have like splintering or anything. So they're just really good for them altogether. Like bamboo, I've tried it, and he even suggested bamboo can be iffy. It's just not the best. It can be rough on them, but he did say that the smoother the material, the better it is on their hands because their hands can get sores very easily.
What do you run for
Mhm.
hydration? Do you use a fogger or do you use a drip system? How do you mist? What do you?
So I do not use a fogger. I did use a fogger for a very long time for my Panthers and my Parsons, but I have realized and just seen in general, like I would see them like, I come down in the mornings and, I'd start up the whole jazz, like, start the lights and I'd start spraying everybody down, start their drippers. And I would start to see them like, like their beards come out and they would cough a little bit. And I was like, and first instinct was upper respiratory infection. So I took it to my
Mhm.
vet, and sure as enough, that's what it was a upper respiratory infection. So treated those guys for that, and then came back again, and I was like, okay, this something ain't right. Like I got everything completely clean and everything like that. Like something ain't right. So I turned that fogger off, just did the regular sprayings, 3 times a day, once in the morning when the lights come on, once in the evening at 3 o'clock, and then once at night about 2 hours before the lights go off. And then, I have a dripper. I actually took the idea from the little drippers and I took 2 red Solo cups. So it has like that suction and drain kind of method going on. So it doesn't just all pour out through the one hole, but I did pinholes through the one and then like 3 through the second one, and then the second one I just pour water in and it just perfectly just has a nice little drip going for
Oh,
all of my chameleons, and it works perfectly. Cost efficient red Solo cups. You can buy 50 pack for $5, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the upper respiratory infection though with the whole fogger thing, yeah, I came to realization after I turned it off, let it, did the whole misting and stuff for a couple of days, and I had seen them drinking, seen they were getting their hydration, and seen the humidity was keeping up and whatnot. So I, also talked to a few other chameleon enthusiasts, and they told me, it's not necessarily, that huge of a deal, especially where you live at. Just depending where you live, it could be a big deal breaker, but if your humidity is at least 50 outside, it should be fine.
wait,
So I just spray them down and do the drippers.
where do Parsons chameleons come from? They're from Madagascar. Or?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
they are.
I'm pretty sure all chameleons. I don't want to be 100%. I don't, but I'm almost 100% sure most of them come from Madagascar. Um, but I can't remember what part of Madagascar they come from, so I can't be 100% on that, unfortunately.
Amazing. That female you have is wild caught. She was in Madagascar, man. That thing was hanging out. Oh,
I know, man. That's what I'm saying. I want to go there with Bill. I really
really?
want to go there with one of him on his
Mhm.
expeditions, man.
Yeah,
I've talked to him
I'm
about
Yeah,
it.
that'd be dope.
Yeah, I've
Jason,
I
talked.
said I was done.
a
But I
doc.
was already talking to him last week about it. Like, trying to, I'm gonna go get my passport and hit up like South and Central America. So I'm gonna see
Yeah,
what Brony is.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude. I think it would be a really nice, fun expedition. I've never been out of the country. I mean, at least out of state, should I say? Um, so I think that would be a fun experience for one, just to do that, and then for two, you get to be with wild animals. So I
yeah.
mean, that's
So you
just
get to see where they came from, what their all their like what the temperatures there, the whole neutral setting, what does it look like, how they came in there, and you really want to do that for your animals when you get back. That's the whole thing right there.
yeah, that's 100%. Yeah,
True, man. If these people, like I said, I was watching it, continually watching some documentaries, but they're deforesting and leveling Madagascar at a rate that's disgusting. I feel like if the people there could see that people are paying money to come and see what they're destroying, they might just start to leave it alone a little more, man. There's and I think it's mind blowing, but there's other than certain parts of the Brazilian rainforest, Madagascar is like the second most actively being deforested part of rainforest ecosystem, man. And it makes my stomach turn when I hear these things with all these animals that come from nowhere on the planet but Madagascar, and they're just leveling trees to plant pulp trees, and it's paper pulp trees, and it's sad. They suck the ground and nutrients. It's just a terrible thing, man. And I feel like a certain amount of tourism, educational tourism and stuff like that, would actually really help stop it. It's, conservation via tourism. It's. I would definitely be interested in checking it out, man. I don't know that my wife would be too thrilled, but she'd do it if I cared that much.
A couple days on it, I'm not. That's gonna be good.
Good luck. Yeah.
Hey, talk to the wife, you be all right, man.
But no,
What you gotta
you
be
are
doing? Yeah.
you are 100% right about that though. And what is crazy about the Amazon rainforest is that it's one of many, large rainforests that actually give us the most cleanest air on Earth. Like they're taking all those trees down that are just cleaning the air for us, and they're all about electric cars and making the ecosystem this and that better, whatever, blah blah blah. It's
Electric
all
cars, the
bullshit, man.
cars, or diesel plant, or the. Let me get me started.
Yeah,
It's sad, but you would think that the reptile hobby. It'd be really nice to see the reptile, and I know with U.S. Ark and there's lots of little organizations that do kick back to conservation, but I think that as a community, it'd be nice to see more done, right? Instead of trying to exploit places, and I don't mean for anyone that keeps wild species or anything. Everybody has their reasons, and there's benefits to it all. I was talking to Jay on our last episode. I mean, with the rate that they're going, people are going to need these animals to reintroduce them someday. That is right. Like they're not going to be in the wild. Like they're going to destroy Madagascar before they realize that they needed it, and then they're going to try to replant Madagascar, and all the animals are going to be gone, and it's going to be captive animals that are going to be part of reintroduction programs, and it's just there's got to be something somewhere that could be done with. I mean, the rainforest in particular, man. So many species come from there, dude, and I mean, we keep these things in our homes. Lots of us do, anyways, because we can't necessarily make it to those places, right? So it gets cool to keep an animal in its somewhat natural environment with plants that come from the Amazon, and even the fish, industry. We got aquatic plants that come from the Amazon River, and all of these things. I mean, it'd be a real damn shame to be like, this is all that's left of it is in this 12 by 24-inch box, and I can never ever really go see a rainforest anymore because they just don't exist. It's a sad thing to think of, but it is reality, man. It's a very realistic possibility. It's a damn shame.
Yeah.
But I think what Bill Strand does is great because they do a lot of, he does a lot of conservation work. He does a lot of, even other companies like Josh's Frogs, man. There's a lot of companies out there do a lot of cool shit with that stuff, man. And a lot of them stem, or I don't know how to say it really, but a lot of them do these little excursions and adventures, if you will, where they go out to these places, check out the things in their natural environment, pick up as much information as they can, bring it back to the reptile hobby. They share it, spread it. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a necessity. It has to be done. It should be done. We can't just keep these things in captivity and say that, oh, so and so said that, I got to do this or got to do this. I mean, we should all make educated adjustments with every bit of information we have, right? I mean, it's not just these animals, you can't just go gambling with your things, those Parsons, and kill one of those and be like, oh, it didn't work. Let me get another one and try this. It's not a house plant. Those things they're not popular, man. From what I can see and what I have seen, I don't know how you found one. I mean, I'm sure if I look, I could find an easy animal to come across, just come across. You don't just stumble across Parsons chameleons, man. Like, they're even others are getting more popular, but dude, they're even. I could go on for anything. They are, in my eyes, the most majestic, beautiful reptile on the planet. Is a whole together as chameleons, man. Pick a prettier reptile than chameleon. A panther chameleon. You're not going to find a prettier reptile. Snake, gecko. Not just arguably it'd be hard to find saltwater fish that are as pretty as some of these chameleons, man.
Oh, man, yeah. So let's you do Viper too, right?
Yeah, I got I forgot to mention those. Yeah, so I got the Viper geckos and I have other miscellaneous stuff. Like I said, I don't plan to breed it. It's just it's there. But I mean, I do breed the Viper geckos, so I did forget to mention that. So
That's
Okay. Um, so what's like your main breeding program right now? Like
main would
private.
be the crested geckos, the Leachianas, obviously, because as them being a pair, they pair for life. Which I in captivity you can wiggle that a little bit, but I think I'm just gonna keep them as a pair for life. You know, just make it easy. Just and there's just such a beautiful pair. I mean, they have so much color on them and whatnot.
what
It
locale are they?
blows my mind.
What locale are your
So they came from Leachies from Steve Samelli. I'm not 100% sure of either or, but I know they're crosses. So the female, she is a pink island cross, and the male is a dark purple blotch GT cross. So I want to
Okay.
assume the male is probably a GTA cross with some type of Nuana, and then the female, same thing, but she's more of an island cross with a Nuana, just for the color, or even what's the other one with color? There's Nuana and Nuami. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Nuamis. Yeah.
So if you how many clutches are you do you sell them? Are you hanging on to them? Are you keeping them to continue programs with or
Uh, so currently, right now, they are still paired up, but they have not laid any eggs for me. They were just in dormancy. I would assume probably here in the next few weeks here, they're going to start kicking back into motion, get things rocking for the year. I did, however, have my first two babies from them. I can't remember. I think the first one hatched out in like October of 23, maybe November, and then the second one was laid like right after that first one had popped out and was I think out on January 7th, and they both came
Okay.
out super awesome and healthy and
Yeah. I'm hyped when you sent me that video over on Instagram. Like, oh,
yeah,
hell yeah.
dude, I was super pumped, man. That was
Yeah.
definitely a godsend.
How long did it take to incubate those?
It's about the same as crested gecko. Doug over at Ridiculous Racks, he kind of gave me a little bit of insight on what I should do with them. He told
Yeah.
me he likes to incubate his, at 79 or 80 degrees, but with like uh, a deficit of 79, so drop like 1 degree deficit, and then go back up to 80
Okay.
for females, and then 84 to 85 for males. So like I
So
did
they
the.
are
I'm sorry.
the tech sex?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, to sex them. So that's what I was gonna say.
I
Is
don't know.
yeah, the 85 is for males. The 80 is for females. I kept the first one actually at room temp just because I didn't have an incubator at the time, and I knew for a fact that it would be fine. Just because I keep all my crested geckos at room temp, and my reptile room it stays at 70 degrees year round. I mean,
Okay.
Ohio gets cold, but just in the basement, it's just super easy to keep it. Just well maintained and whatnot. But
Yeah.
especially with it being insulated too. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was super easy. I kept that one, like I said, 70 degrees, and I'm not 100% of sex on the first one. I am going to hold that one back though, just because it has a lot of color already showing as a baby, and
Yeah.
it just being my first one, it just
Special,
sentimental,
right?
oh
very
yeah.
Yeah.
sentimental, So
How do you think they compare to crested geckos, like as far as genetics? When you look at the mother and the father, do you think that the babies progress? Like are they better than the parents?
so I can't really, to be fairly, say on that, just because this is my first babies that I've had from the parents. So, with that being said, I have seen pictures of parents of like ones that I've grown up, and I will say that there's more pattern. I feel like that comes into play with the babies that come, like the offspring. There's more pattern, and it seems that they just keep the same true color of the parents though. But there's a lot more pattern there, especially with the GTs.
That's awesome. That's good. That's cool. I got a bunch of them, but none of them are old enough to really to breed or anything. So I just keep, but I have, man, I could talk to you for hours about that too. Just
Me
super cute.
too.
Crested geckos, you would pair them for certain characteristics, right? Like you want to take the power trait of this one and the power trait of this one and try to put them into one animal and ultimately make a better animal. I mean, that doesn't always happen, but I mean, that's pretty much what most people's goal, I mean, should at least be. But I was always curious with these other species, like, is it the same? Like, am I looking to take, this GT that I have because he's got, great white bars, and this GT's got purple bars? Like, am I get pink bars, or am I like, what are you looking for when you're pairing Leachianus? Like,
So for me, it's more or less like high pattern and lots of color, like lots of saturation. It can vary though. It's a hit or miss. Like that second baby, like I said, I had it doesn't show color yet, but as they progress and they get older, it gets well formed and starts to pop a lot more. So for all I can know, I could grab the one that does have the less color. I don't know. It's just more of a guessing game. So I would say, like I said, it's more like a guessing game. I like I said, I like go for saturation and pattern. The parents, they have both. They have best of both worlds.
yeah,
My other pairings, I have well, they're not paired yet, but I have a male true Pine Island, and then I have a female um, GT, and she's a true GTA. And what I want to go for that is size. So, like I said, it could be hit or miss. You could get size and color just because of that Pine Island being in there, but I'm not 100% sure just because.
so it's like the same idea then, where we're kind of the same idea as Cresty. You're looking to take the best of both and make better.
Right.
Yeah,
So my whole idea that I've gotten from all of it is that when you get the Nuamis and the Nuanas, they give you that nice color, and you get the Pine Islands, they give you those nice speckled looks and the pattern or whatnot, but it's more of like just a white dot with like peppered and salt and pepper specklings in there, and then you got your GTs. They're just dark morphs more or less, and they just have like that dark color. They get big. That's what people want is those big sizes. So that's just it makes it a lot easier for people to justify whether they want to make small new Amis or do they want to make huge GTs and get the true size of a
Yeah.
Leachie.
what do you think's more popular? I never really fed into it, but coming from your point of view, you do shows and stuff. What do you think is? What do you think? I don't know. I want to ask. What do you think's more popular, the size or the color?
Honestly, from my standpoint, for me anyways, it would probably be both. But just from what I've seen, I mean, like I said, I've only been to one show, and it doesn't really give me much perspective. But from what I've seen, a lot of people like that size, man. They just love a true Leachie, man. Just a
Uh,
They
full
want
on.
500 gram lychee.
Yeah, they love the huge gecko. Like that's a gecko. Like holy crap, you know what I mean? Like
that's
that's
my.
awesome. But for me, like I said, I love the colors too. It just adds a little cherry on top of the cake. Just those. It looks like little mini roses in there, man. It looks so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, all right. So we're coming up close to almost the end. So I got a couple questions. All right. So this is like a two-part, really. Like, so what is your passion project? And then the other one is like, what's your favorite project? So you have your favorites, and you got your ones that your passion. That's like this one is probably not going to sell a lot, but I'm so intrigued by it.
So probably, man, that's a
I
tough
know you got
question
so
because
many.
a lot of the stuff
You
that I
got so
have
many
is.
different reptiles.
I would say it's a really hard question to dial in on because I have a lot of stuff that people like and want. You know what I mean? Like I kind of like
Hmm.
aimed myself around that. I wanted to get stuff that was popular and would breed, often. But man, that's a tough one. I'd probably have to say the Australian rough-throated leaf-tails, just because a lot of people are kind of iffy about them. They're kind of scared. You know what I mean? They just look really intimidating. Like my girlfriend, she's just not she's not very much a pleaser about that one. But she likes all the other animals.
Yeah.
But yeah, passion wise, I'd say probably the uh the rough.
Your favorite? What's your favorite project?
My favorite project, well, it hasn't started, but would probably be the Parsons.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, I love those
Um,
Parsons, man. They're just so awesome, and especially the male. I just like watching him progress. Those horns coming out of the side of his nose, man. It's just
oh
so killer.
yeah, man.
It looks like a moose almost, like how the moose goes like this. It's like a moose
Yeah.
but forward. It's so cool.
So with those leaf tails, you got pairs of those going, or are you uh, growing some out?
So yeah, I actually I have a male and a female from Brian Susan at Sundown Reptiles
Okay.
pairings, from both his pairing one and pairing twos. Australian leaf-tailed geckos. Um, they are, I want to say, a year and a half old right now,
Okay, so
so I want to
it's
probably
pretty
wait till
cool.
that 2 year mark to pair them up.
Yeah.
And I also do have a male from him as well. He's 3 years old, but I need a female for him still, so
Mhm.
plan to get one of those in the future as well. But
Yeah.
just
What's the
got, like I said,
scientific name on those?
life. I'm sorry,
What's the scientific name on those? Is it Salturius?
Saltuarius salabrosus.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, those things are wicked, man.
They're
I'm
so
trying
Yeah.
to keep those.
like
Just
honestly,
I know they have to go
give you
super
credit.
cold, super chill to cool them down. And
Hmm.
I don't know if I could do that here.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I plan or how I, plan to achieve
You
it,
live in
but
Ohio, you can do that. Winter for me is like springtime for y'all.
true enough. True enough.
But I
That's
don't know if I
crazy,
can
man. Wow.
get. I can't get that cold over here. It's almost impossible. I don't even
Yeah,
know how they would do it.
it's starting to warm up right now. Today it was 77, so it was pretty killer out today. It's the hottest it's been, this year, and I enjoyed it at least. I got car
Oh,
cleaned out and got a few things done today outside. So
Awesome.
cool. That's what's up. All right. So last question. Well, last question for me. I don't know. If you know. Mine is, you know,
So
I
I
was
got
always going to like. For me, it's like I said, the Gecko podcast. So it's my geckos.
why geckos? Probably because of my OG gecko, man. He's from 2005. I didn't mention him, but his name is Rex. I've had him since I was 6 years old, actually, still kicking. And he's a leopard
What kind of
gecko
gecko?
from
Oh,
none other than PetSmart. But he's still kicking, man. 2005. I got the actual birth date and certificate still. He's from May 5th of 2005 is when they said he was hatched out and whatnot. So he's still out there, man. He's down here kicking.
that's awesome right there. That's what I like to hear. That's
But yeah,
longevity.
but yeah, because of him and just because just seeing him and how long he's lasted and just how well they thrive and just they're just awesome, man. Geckos, you can't go wrong, and they're just so chill. Can't say much for the leaf tails and the leech are chill, but the crested geckos and the leopards, they're absolutely killer.
Yeah. You got anything?
my only question is if you'll come back, dude. Now that I know everything you keep, dude, like I got so many questions about so many different things that I think people can learn from. It
Yeah.
would it'd be really a pleasure to have you back, man. I mean, you have firsthand experience with things that people only dream of. Like I said, these chameleons, man. There's so many people out here that dream of having these things, but know nothing about them, dude. I really think that I could put together a whole podcast, dude, of just asking you questions about things that you've experienced and learned, man. And I think it'd be a huge help to the community, not just us, and the other species and things you've bred, the leachies. I mean, there's really nobody out there that has done face videos about breeding Leachianus, man. I mean, people talk about doing it and say, oh, I do that too, while they're talking about crested geckos or something, but nobody has ever really sat down and be like, this is how you do it. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. This is how you do this. So honestly, I could keep asking you questions for hours, and I'm sure you guys both have stuff to do. But if you would come back, that'd be super amazing. And I'll keep it shortish. I'll put together some to the point questions that I really think would help people, man.
Yeah, no, I'm more than willing to come back on and talk anything, man. Parsons, Leachies, geckos, anything,
Hell
man.
Awesome.
yeah.
Great, man.
So once that breeding season gets started, start shooting me some pictures. Like, oh, look, I got this. So we can go ahead and start making some notes, making sure we know what we're talking about, and we'll go from there. I appreciate the time that you gave us today, man.
Yeah,
Cool.
no, thank you guys for having me on. For real, it's been a pleasure.
All
Sweet.
right. So where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all at Quantum Leap Reptiles. It's all connected. No spaces. The QLR and the Q and Quantum, the L and Leap, and then the R in Reptiles is all capitalized. Everything else is lowercase in the lettering.
Cool. All right, man. All right.
Well,
Well, you have a good night, man. I said, you know me, I'm gonna hit you up anyways. We talk all the time. So, all
For
right.
sure.
thanks
Yeah,
All right,
again.
hit
then,
me
man.
up too, Anthony. I appreciate you guys for having me on again. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You guys take it easy.
You too, buddy.
You too.
See ya.
Peace.